Hi, greetings. It's me, Dr. Paul Gerhardt, and today I want to talk about the very last topic in this selling series. And I know that throughout the video series here, I've talked about being able to apply selling concepts through your career and your personal life. And of course, this last topic is one that you absolutely can apply in your life because we all have very busy lives. I'm talking about time management. So managing your time, and if you're in the sales industry, managing your time and territory. So let's get right into it. Some of the things that I want to talk about is why your time is so valuable. What can be done to create more selling time? What strategies can you have in order to manage your territory? And how does territory strategy relate to account strategy in building partnerships? So how we spend our time is really how we get our results. And so it really is important that what gets measured can get improved. You know, stealing from Dr. John Carter of Harvard University, but it really is true. What gets measured gets improved. So really taking a systematic approach to be able to measure how you spend your daily activities and the results that you're getting can help you understand where best to focus your time. Same thing if you're in the job market, or same thing if you're working a career and you have different responsibilities. Learning how to really analyze where to spend your time and energy to get the best results is absolutely important. It's about being an efficient time manager. And when you're in the sales world, it's just equally as important to be able to take a look at measures, or if you are a manager of a sales department, being able to take a look at how people are spending their time and being able to coach people so that they can spend their time wiser to get the best results. So let's talk about the self-management process. And it's kind of a circular model. You know, one, you've got to set sales goals. You have to be realistic, of course, with your sales goals. You need to design a sales strategy and allocate the right resources. And then you need to implement the time and territory strategy. And then at the very end, this often gets missed, but you want to be able to evaluate your performance. And then from there, you start all over again by setting new goals. And so it's an over and over and over again circle of process improvement that really must be considered. So let's talk about relationship goals. You do not want to, at the end of your life, be on your deathbed and contemplating what you accomplished and go, gosh darn it, I wish I had spent more time at the office. You know, that's probably happens more often than not, sadly said. What you probably want to say is, I had balance in my life. I figured out what I wanted to do in my career to have a career that fed my soul, but also allowed me to have the kind of lifestyle to spend quality time with my family and the people that I love in my world, my friends and family. And so starting with that perspective, you know, and Dr. Stephen Covey, who I always talk about, says that you want to begin with the end in mind. You know, where and how you live. How important is family to you? How important is personal growth to you? So be very, very clear of what you want your lifestyle to look like, and then ask yourself what kind of career can help you get there. It's so true that some of the most people that make the most money, they're doing it in sales. And I'm not trying to promote sales career, but it's true. You have unlimited potential if you can find a product or service in an organization that is in alignment with your values, and then really learn to practice the skills of selling, which this video series is all about. So whatever you choose, whatever your career, we're always doing selling and sharing of our ideas and getting people to listen, and being able to do so in an effective way really is important. So what is it that you want to accomplish in your career? What does that position specifically look like? Is it in the company that you're in? Or is there another company that would be a better match for you? And what do you have to do in order to get that ideal career? For many of us, it's about going back and getting the right education, and then getting our foot in the door with an organization where it's on the track of building our career, one step at a time. One of my favorite stories is about a lady that came to a community college, and when she finished as a single mother of 4 kids, and she earned her associate's degree and then got her foot in the door working for DSHS. And then after she started working as an administrative assistant, she finished a bachelor's degree and she became a social worker. And then after she finished her master's degree, she started getting into different levels of management within the state DSHS system. And she ended up retiring in her 60s, I suspect, as the director of DSHS. And so she kept her eye on the prize and worked real hard, and she grew her career. When I met her, she was 70 years old and starting law school. And so we can accomplish anything that we want, but we have to really understand who we are and build our network and then grow our career because we're on a very clear path. Same thing with sales. So be very clear on where you want to be with your career, and don't spend time going up the wrong ladder. Really find out the jobs that feed your soul. Sales goals are important. If you're in the sales business, you want to create new accounts. You want to create greater revenues, and you need to be able to take a look at the products or service that you're selling and figure out what that looks like. Have conversion goals. That's the number of account calls necessary to sell people and gain a new account. Take a look at the number of proposals necessary, and then the number of demonstrations necessary to sell a unit. And then take a look at the activities that are involved. And so that's kind of a cyclical thing, is you analyze your performance, you analyze your conversion goals, and then the activities, and then you're doing constant fixing in what you're doing to make sure that you're continuing to move forward. So let's talk about the nature of goals. Goals, you've probably heard it before, need to be SMART, or specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. I'm going to sell 1 million units of this. Does that sound very specific to you? Or I'm going to sell a lot of this. I guess 1 million really is a little more specific. But having a date, I'm going to sell 1 million of these XYZ units by December 31st, 2017. That's even more specific. But is it realistic? And is it achievable? And so you have to be able to take a look at what other people are doing. You can have high goals for yourself, but if you're not on track towards achieving your goals, you might lose motivation. And you're the only one that can motivate yourself. Other people can inspire us by what they say, but we need to have evidence. And celebrating small successes as you're accomplishing your goals can help keep you motivated. And that's a good tip, by the way, for sales managers, right? So setting goals and then forgetting about them is probably one of the biggest problems of most people. A lot of us, set goals at the start of the year, and then maybe it's about losing or getting on an exercise program or writing a book or whatever that is. All of us set goals sometime in our life, or most of us do. I should never say all. But in your career, if you're setting goals and then you forget about them, it's not going to be any good. You're just kind of wasting your own time. So the solution for that is actually write those goals down and then look at it all the time. Post it somewhere that you see where those goals are. Maybe you're using a sticky memo and it's on your refrigerator. It's on the mirror where you are. If it's writing a book, or maybe you're writing a note to yourself, go and exercise. But whatever those goals are, if it's in the sales business, where you focus your time and attention, that's where you're going to get your result. So let's talk about types of sales goals. Performance goals are related to specific outcomes. They should be set first, and then make sure that you have your personal development goals. These are really important for you in order to grow and so that you have the right skills that you need in order to accomplish your goals. And then activity goals. These are behavior objectives. It's about reflecting on your efforts as a salesperson, and they're intermediate goals. And then there are conversion goals, especially if you're in sales. These are they're expressed with relative accomplishments, and then you're doing benchmarking. You're comparing your performance with the rest of the organization, for example. So you never want to be the last person on a sales team who's being least effective. You know, if cuts need to be made, you're probably out of there. It's always best to try to be at the very top of the stack. You feel good about yourself, you inspire other people through what you do, and you show other people that it's great to have high goals and that you can accomplish them. So setting sales goals. Performance and conversion goals are the basis for activity goals. They determine by your desired level of performance at a certain rate of conversion. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And you need to have a better strategy. Higher conversion rates and better allocation time. So where we focus our time and attention is where we get our results. And so we have to have measures. And you need to make sure that you're allocating the right resources. You need to make sure that you're very aware of what physical resources are needed and what costs are in the company and what investments you need to make as a salesperson. Time really is the key resource to be managed. If you got a phone, if you got a proper car, if you've got the video resources, you've got pamphlets and brochures and samples of your product or service and testimonials, whatever those things are, you need to make sure that you have it. If you don't have them, you need to get them, of course. And so we also need to be aware of that time really is the key resource. And so you got to be able to know where to focus or allocate each of your investments, physical resources, times. And so find the customers or companies that are most likely to buy, and then allocate your selling resource to maximize the opportunities that you have to offer. It just really makes sense that if it's not going to get the best results for you, and it can't over the longer time, why would you want to spend your time there? Because you only have so much time. So being able to classify and allocate your resources is really important. So concentrate on the more profitable customers. Concentrate less on customers with little opportunity for profitable sales. And then manage your customers, because that's going to take time, and allocate the right resources that are going to be most productive. We call this the ABC analysis. It's about really taking a look at each of your accounts and then ranking them first, second, third, and fourth through sales potential. And the accounts with the greatest sales potential are at the very top. This is where you spend most of your time. And then as you go down the line, it gives you a tool for you to be able to figure out how much time you need to contact and develop and maintain those relationships. So you could use something called a grid analysis. This is about being able to classify accounts based on their competitive position along with their potential sales potential. And the purpose of this is to determine which accounts should receive most resources, including time. The grid analysis is an effective tool for you to really analyze your current customers. It's about looking at average percentage of business received from the company's account in a particular category. And we also call this share wallet. It's similar to customer share, but it's for an individual customer. So in a sales call allocation grid, if you find one on the web, you are looking at the strength of your position. It's either strong or weak. You know, strong accounts are very attractive because they offer high opportunity and the sales organization has a strong position. Your sales call strategy should be that they receive high levels of sales calls because they are the organization's most attractive accounts. On the other hand, weak account opportunity and strength position is that they could offer high opportunity, but the sales organization currently has a weak position with accounts. Accounts should receive a high level of sales calls to strengthen the sales organization position. So really taking a look at strong and weak positions and figure out how much time you want to allocate is important. So let's talk about investing in accounts. Predictive modeling is what we call, and this is what determines which accounts are likely to be more productive. And it helps us determine where to invest our resources. Salespeople really must determine which customers require sales efforts and then what activities should occur. So pretty simple model. So in a pipeline analysis, this is a process for identifying and managing sales opportunities. We call it opportunity management. And it helps us be able to take a look at how we can use our CRM, or our customer relationship management software. It will help us determine conversion ratios and ensure that opportunities to reach sales goals are created, and it requires us to be able to identify which stage an account is in. So let's talk about implementing time management strategy. So starting early is always important. Managing your responsiveness, scheduling in advance, and using downtime wisely. Let's face it, we all have only a certain amount of time in each day. And again, where we spend our time, that's where we're going to get our results. So you really must have a daily activity planning. At the start of the week, take a look at what your goals are. Really take a look at what your work habits are and figure out how you can effectively use your time. Here's some general guidelines. You need to make time to spend with customers and build and maintain those relationships, and you need to spend time for prospecting. You need to have a prime selling time. Really look at what time of the day is it that you're getting the best results as you're interacting with each of your customers or potential customers, your prospects. So you got to have a planning process. A planning process helps maintain daily activities, and it's used in, and you can use a computer for planning. Something like a tickler file can come up and remind you of when you should be doing a particular activity for the day. And you also have to have flexibility. Schedules all the time. People are so busy these days, and so you may have a customer that you're supposed to call on, but they've got something else planned for that particular slot. And so you need to make sure that you've got time and space to be able to move your time accordingly. Plan for the unexpected. Know when that first visit is really important, and then the next visit time for potential customers should also be scheduled too. So really taking a look at where you're going to get the best bang for your buck, or where you spend your time the best. Let's talk about activities for the planning process. Make a list of activities that should be performed. Determine the priority of each activity, estimate how much time each activity will take, and develop a schedule for doing the activities. And some people are working on Sundays and Saturdays, but take a look at what that looks like. You got to have time for you. You do need to compare the estimated time with the actual time that was spent for each of your activities. So things don't always work out the way that we plan it, but those in itself are lessons too. Routing, how to get to where you want to be matters too, and there are lots of different models out there that can help you minimize your travel time, and so being aware of what those look like. You need to have sales call patterns if you are in the selling industry. You have routine call patterns, being able to see customers at a regular basis, and then variable call patterns. This is calling on accounts in an irregular order. Some of the different types of routing plans out there, and I want to talk a lot about them, but they all make sense depending on what your strategy is. These are the types of route plans, and look them up. It's a circular approach to routing, a leapfrog approach to routing, the straight line approach to routing or routing, and then the clover leaf approach to routing. So circular, leapfrog, straight line, and then cloverleaf. And if you think about a map, they kind of make sense as you think about the terms itself. So zoning really matters. In many organizations, different salespeople are allocated their own territories. And being very clear on where the boundaries are for those territories, that could affect how you spend your time. So being really aware of how you spend your time. Sometimes it's on the email or the telephone. Sometimes it's you're making sales calls in person. You're taking reorders or cross-selling. We need to make sure that all of these times are allocated so that we can be as successful as possible. There's only so much time in every day, and where we spend our time is where we get our results. More customer calls can be made if you plan them out. You know, have a day for that, or maybe it's half of your day to break up some continuity. It'd be ideal for you to make time to get reorders and do cross-selling with current customers. And you need to make sure that you're spending time, also allocating time for doing the prospecting work in order to develop and analyze new customers. And of course, these are related to other video lectures that I've done earlier in this series, so check them out. Paperwork will be a part of any job out there, and you all have to look for ways that you can improve the quality of your time and the quality of the paperwork that you submit. There are marketing plans that you could be using and helping develop even better. There's non-selling time that you can use different tools like fax machines, voice recognition systems, and of course customer relationship packages. So make sure you have the right tools to help you be effective in your job. Also, you need to be able to evaluate performance, and so do post-call analysis. You know, write down incidents that occur after every call. Keeping good log records is so important in the sales world. Information that can be used when preparing for the next time you talk with them is absolutely key to building those solid relationships. Very often, you're using printed forms that could help you be able to analyze how effective you are. You know, what did you accomplish with the time that was spent? You know, take a look at your activities and analyze them when you're planning future activities, and that can help you set better goals. You have to do performance analysis, and so you're taking a look at what it is that you've done and then reevaluating your strategy. And you have to do a conversion ratio, and we're going to talk about that here right now and then finish this long video up. So it's a conversion ratios. Really take a look at the count type, and then they give you a tool to be able to pinpoint effective strategies and help you figure out what areas need improving. So I can remember being in college algebra and thinking, when would I ever use this? And now in business, I recognize that wasn't a waste of our time. You know, being able to take a look at conversion rate and figure out how effective your current strategy is. And so that's taking a look at number of calls versus divided by number of sales, and that can help you improve your strategy, and it allows you to compare your rate to the average industry average or your company average. Be able to look at sales achievement, which is figured about sales goal divided by actual sales, and this is your overall performance, where you being able to look at how you're accomplishing your goals and being able to look at how you're accomplishing your organization's goals. And then commission is a simple formula too. It's earning goal divided by actual commission. So look at where you're spending your time with new customers and old customers. How is that time being used? How is your time being used with prospecting and account calls and sales presentations and frequency and even the type of customer that you have, because I know that varies from industry to industry and organization to organization. But really taking a look at how you can evaluate how you spend your time and the results that you get can help you create a strategy for greater successes. And that really is the whole goal in life. You could spend time on your career, but if you lose your significant other, your spouse, your kids because you're not investing time in them, are you really successful? If you're not spending enough time doing personal development or getting vacation time so that you can refresh your soul, are you really being successful? So everything has measures that you can look at, but you must take time to take a look at what you're doing, figure out how you can do it better, continue spending time in the areas that you're getting the best results, and analyze what your future goals are and develop a strategy that helps you manage the time that you have in order to accomplish those goals. All right, I know that I've talked way longer than I hoped, but I hope you found some value in this video. Thank you so much for your valuable time, and if you've watched all the videos in this series, I'm really grateful for that especially. I hope that you have a great day, because only you get to choose how you feel about it. I'm Dr. Paul.